Okie dokie. Now we're moving on to evidence and elaboration. This is similar to purpose, focus, and organization, only in that your top score for this one is a 4. Right there, you see the 4. So you are aiming to get a 4 on this. And these are the ways that you'll get a 4. So let's take a look. The response provides thorough and convincing evidence. So in order to collect thorough and convincing evidence, you've got to be able to read the passages they give you, underline the important evidence that supports your opinion, and then you have to be able to incorporate that evidence in your essay. So there's a lot of steps to that. But to get a 4, you need thorough and convincing evidence. You need the good stuff that the other authors wrote in their passages. It says thorough and convincing evidence for the writer's opinion that includes effective use of sources, facts, and details. You're going to get that from the reading that precedes the question they're going to ask you. The response includes most of the following: evidence related to the topic, integrated smoothly and thoroughly with references to the sources. This is something that I'm going to have to show you in a later video. How do you put the other person's facts from the passages? How do you put facts from the passages in your own essay? How do you do it smoothly? How do you do it properly? If you listen and do well on the other videos, you should be able to do that in your essay and get a 4. Next, it says effective use of a variety of elaborative techniques demonstrating an understanding of the topic and the text. Elaborative techniques. So it's a variety, being able to list a fact from a source and then elaborate on it by giving examples from real life, examples from your own life, or maybe even to elaborate means to explain it a little better. So if you borrow a really good fact from one of the passages and it's a scientific fact that might be a little confusing to someone else, your ability to break it down in the next sentence and explain it a little bit better, that's an elaborative technique. So they're looking for you to be able to do many different types. And then the next one says clear and effective expression of ideas using precise language. They want to make sure they can tell you understand the topic based upon the words you use in your essay. Precise language. One example I can give you is they asked students to explain, that's not an opinion prompt, but you understand, explain how modern medicine has advanced since the 1800s. If the person in the passage uses the word scalpel, you would not take that quote about the scalpel and refer to it as a knife. You want to use precise language that relates right back to the passage. Academic and domain-specific vocabulary. Domain-specific just means pertaining to the topic. So if it's talking about modern medicine, well, domain-specific vocabulary would be scalpel. It's vocabulary that has to do with medicine and, being a doctor or surgeon. So you are able to use academic, which is bigger words, and domain-specific vocabulary appropriate for the audience and the purpose. Last, it says varied sentence structure demonstrating language facility. So basically, you are able to mix up your sentences. It's not a pattern. For opinion writing, a pattern would sound something like this. I feel that school lunches are gross. And then you cite some evidence from the article. I feel that school lunches are unnutritious. And then you cite some evidence from the article. I feel that school lunches are ineffective. If you repeat yourself over and over and use the same types of sentences over and over again, you're not mixing it up. They want you to vary your sentence structure to get a 4. Let's go down here to a 1, just so you know. It says the response provides little evidence for the writer's opinion, including little, if any, use of sources, facts, and details. So what this would be is a student who read the article, understood none of it, so chose not to borrow any evidence from the passages and just wrote an essay about their opinion, and that's it. They don't use any sources. If you don't use any sources, you'll get a 1. It says little or absent or little absent, extra, or inappropriate evidence from the source material. So inappropriate evidence would be if you borrowed a sentence and it had nothing to do with your topic. There are sentences that will be in the passages that are maybe introductory sentences or explanatory sentences, and they don't fit with what you're trying to say. So if you accidentally do that, then that puts you closer to a 1. Expression of ideas is unclear or confusing. Limited or inappropriate language or domain-specific vocabulary. And I already explained that. Using your own vocabulary instead of the vocabulary from the passages to explain stuff to the authors. You can have sentences that elaborate on the vocabulary after the sentences that actually use them. You don't have to, but they want to see that you know how to use the information from the article, and they want to be able to tell that you completely understood the article based on your writing. Then it says sentences limited to simple structures, and I already explained what that might sound like. You can see the 3 is similar to the 4, but the way that they describe it is a little different. Adequate evidence, which just means, all right, some, and it's okay. That you use sources, facts, and details. Generally integrated evidence. Acceptable use of elaborative techniques. Acceptable expression of ideas. So it's similar, but it's not as hard or clear as far as like, yes, they absolutely used evidence. Yes, they integrated it really well. The 3 is if the teacher or the person grading it says, yeah, they kind of did it, I guess. That's what the 3 is. I hope that helped. You're going to be using this information on the next assignment, so good luck.